So welcome back, episode 2. You might remember my amazing joke from last week. Our clothes have amazing preservatives.
Look at these clothes. They have the best preservatives.
Episode 2, we got our solo investigations underway. We started out, Adam, you were first, so why don't you take it away? Tell us a little bit about your experience.
Okay, so the deal with mine is that they'll see it in the episode, but I was really just kind of taking the piss out of the whole situation. But I didn't feel anything out of the ordinary besides, like, I was sort of anxious, and the fact that I don't think you can attribute that to being a ghost. I think it can just be attributed to the fact that we were in a pitch black shop with mannequin heads staring at you.
They creep me the hell out. I don't like it. Especially her.
When you say, I don't think you can attribute that to the paranormal, are you talking to me or to Connor? Because in one of those situations, you might be wrong. Connor could attribute that to the paranormal as the essential
I know.
Here.
I tend to.
Connor heard my fucking knuckles crack and was like...
Yeah, because we told you to be silent.
I tried. It's an old shop.
It's an old shop, so I cracked my knuckles. That argument doesn't make sense, Adam.
I didn't think you'd be able to hear it.
Adam, do you remember if you were kind of like twirling the voice recorder around, or, you know, like a baton or anything?
I feel like that would have shown up on camera. What I remember doing is tapping on, like, because it had that, it was on, like, the fucking rod, or on the baton or whatever. So I...
Was it the unipod or whatever?
Yeah.
It's called a monopod.
When I was walking around with it, I would, like, tap on it with my fingers.
Well, even if that's the case, what I do want to mention is there is another tap at the beginning of his EVP, if you remember when he's in the living room. There is a singular tap. It happens during my EVP as well. If it is him, we did note that in the video. We did say this could be Adam.
That's true.
Because this is me defending that I honestly do not want to go back and fix anything.
So after Adam was my solo, I got a little more than I asked for when it came to Julius giving me signs that he was here. He kind of touched my elbow, and it was in a little bit of a weird way. It wasn't just like a tap. Yeah. It wasn't like a tap. It felt kind of like a roll of quarters.
He went.
Yeah, he went. I heard that when you lick part of the elbow, they don't even feel it.
But yeah, I got a nice little like rub on my elbow, and it was fucking weird. And then the yarn was swinging, which I think we're always gonna argue about. I truly believe that we had gone back and debunked it, or attempted to debunk it, and it wasn't moving when you guys walked past it.
What I will say, no, it was. I saw it move, too. I think we all saw it move. Adam has been there for like half of his fucking life. He's seen it move a million times, I'm sure. The thing was the AC was off, so that was interesting. But I like to believe that the shop is full of like a bunch of ghosts. And one of them's sole job is to stand there and wiggle that scarf.
Well... I guess we will...
Julius, can I go make a noise in the kitchen? No. Listen,
there.
Clarita. Stand right there and do that. Someday this is really going to fuck with somebody, I swear.
Well, they got their wish, so congratulations, Clarita.
The best was I thought that was going to be a genuine point.
And right before Benny went in and did his solo, we had a little bit of... Benny heard a ticking noise that we went to investigate, and as we were investigating that, Benny and I heard a clap. And so we went to go investigate that. Do you feel that?
No.
Like, cold air just rushed past me.
I felt that too.
Really?
Hands down, I felt that shit. Well, the thing about the cold air that got me, because when I went back home that night, and my dad was like, "Hey, how'd the investigation go?" And I was like, "Well, we felt some like sharp temperature changes," and he was like, "That happens to me all the time," and I was like, "What?"
I love Enrique's role in this like whole investigation, which comes to my next point, which is immediately before my solo.
Hey, Benny, spend a couple extra minutes back there. I caught the tail end of the curtain moving back, like someone was peeking out. The big bay window where we were sitting behind us. I was out there and caught the tail end, like it looked like someone was peeking out, and I looked and it went back. So.
And I wasn't over there.
Yeah. So spend like an extra minute or two back there. Just. Yeah. Anyway, just letting you know. Are you scared now? I apologize, but that's important.
Fuck you. You stupid son of a bitch. Why would you say anything?
Nothing bad.
Alright, let's go now.
How evil could someone who haunts a good
Yeah.
place be?
Fuck you.
Not that I mean it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Enrique is a very good addition to the team. I like it.
For sure. Yeah. There's a moment where a light shines on the chair and a noise happens as if someone is seated next to me.
Anyway,
I didn't get to see that evidence before watching it in the video before it went live, but yeah, it was pretty damn interesting.
So what's interesting to me is it showed up again, and the second time I debunked it as my flashlight. But here's why the first time I can't necessarily debunk it. Because if you really pay attention to the light, it disappears behind the edge of the side of the sofa closest to me. You know what I'm saying? Like the armrest, it disappears behind it. But in the second one, when it is my flashlight, it's like visibly my flashlight. Like you see it shine. So that one legitimately freaked me out. Because then I jumped to this point, which is really interesting to me. Almost all of the somewhat convincing evidence, according to at least Connor, only happens when I'm on camera or when I'm present.
And I can't explain that, because usually the stuff only happens to you when you open yourself up to it.
And I don't.
And you're as closed off as anyone who's ever fucking hunted ghosts.
okay. I heard a creaking over on the ramp. Definitely hear footsteps.
They show up on the audio recorder, and I heard them in person, which is different. And I remember how we realized that this happens is we asked, as Adam was telling us about the house as a whole. And we say, well, how's the house settle? And he said, a lot of times just around the wheelchair ramp. Wheelchair ramps don't fucking settle.
Yeah, no, those might be footsteps, buddy. So the last part of the investigation that we did was the group spirit box in Julius's corner so that we could say goodbye. And another thing that I want to point out about saying goodbye, I have no explanation as to why this happened. But as soon as we started talking about, packing up, saying goodbye, and heading out, I kind of just I closed off, and I started feeling like really depressed that we were about to leave. And
Right.
Spirits do have, along with our physical, body, they can mess with our emotional side as well. And so I think there's a huge possibility that Julius has never had anyone go in there and talk to him before, but we did that. And, we got some of his antics caught on video. We might have heard his voice at one point if, he was the man talking over the spirit box. So, he had someone to talk to. He had someone to hang out with. And someone who knew he was there. And he didn't want us to go. And I think that's a pretty profound experience. So, yeah, I think we might have had a really deep connection that night.
What I also think is interesting about what Connor was saying is that Benny, did you get that feeling of like you didn't want to leave? Did you get that, or was Connor the only one who did?
Not really.
Okay, so I think it's interesting that Connor's the only one who got it because he's also the one who's fully invested and like firmly believes that these things do exist. So he's the only one who's like actually willing to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I feel like that does make a bit of sense.
Last thing we did was a spirit box in the corner, and we got one really, really good piece of evidence, and that was my shirt being tugged on, which, Benny, I remember you saying, why don't people fuck with Connor? I got touched on the elbow and my shirt got tugged after you said that about me. You're just getting fucked with recently, man.
I'm sick of it. Really. Can somebody fuck with Connor, please?
So maybe Julius was taking your advice, man. That wasn't my arm moving. My arm was moving a different way than the shirt was tugged. And I don't know how my shirt could have moved that way without someone pulling on it. Our last stop of the night, truly last stop,
Yes.
was Spirit Box in the old garage. When we were talking about leaving, there was a multitude of voices that came through kind of all at once, which I do think points more, lends more credence to the fact that whoever was there did not want us to leave, because there was a lot of people crying out at once.
So this is a text that I received from Adam's mom the following day after the investigation. Okay, so I just get to the shop and I'm opening everything up. There is a tall standing fan next to a yellow chair. It turned on its own. I forgot to tell you that used to happen all the time, even during the day when people were here.
I think Julius might be a little more comfortable, letting his presence known. I think, I think he's, letting more people know. I think he's more comfortable with it now.
Or he's trying to get people to notice him again and talk directly to him again.
So, with that, Adam, some special thanks to both you and your mother for letting us into the shop after hours. We are not worthy.
We are not worthy.
Thank you guys for watching Social Knitwork. The last 2 episodes. These have probably been the most fun things for us to film so far this season. In the future, if there are any businesses that want to reach out and have us investigate their area, you can email us to paranormalguys@gmail.com, and we're always open to being locked down in your store with no supervision, as long as you leave the cash register unlocked. Thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy the next episode.
I'd like to apologize. Kinda. Not really. What can you do? I want to get your opinion on these mannequins, man. They creep me the hell out. I don't like it.
You ready?
No, but sure. Ooga booga booga.
Ooga booga booga.
Put the fucking yarn down.
No!
Let's just... Motherfucker! Motherfucker! Fuck you!
Show us those dentures. Give us a smile.
I think he's pissed because you said he had dentures.
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting spirits.
Shut up and come on. So, we're here in Huntsville.
Booga, booga, booga.
Are there any ghosts out here? I'm here with respect.
Oh, fuck.
Oh God, Christ, that got scary.